always told my mother that I wanted to be an actress, since before I can remember.
I had just turned 15 and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2. And they brought me in and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat. Then have me dancing underneath a waterfall getting soaking wet.
I was sort of speaking out against some of the abusive, misogynistic, patriarchal things that were going on in Hollywood back in 2008 and 2009, way before people were ready to embrace that or tolerate it. And I actually got ridiculed for doing it. I didn't feel like I was accepted by much of the feminist community. I just didn't think that I was a very sympathetic victim, and so I didn't want to speak out because I didn't feel like it would be received in a positive way.
Let's get into it. Are you thinking of starting a business but don't know where to begin? Shopify is the #1 platform for selling online. Whether you're launching a side hustle, a clothing brand, or custom merch, Shopify gives you everything you need to start and grow. With Shopify's industry-leading checkout, businesses see 50% more conversions, which means more sales and less stress. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Sloan, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Sloan to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/Sloan. Let's be real, cooking every day is exhausting. Grocery shopping, prepping, and cleaning, no thanks. That's why I love Factor. They deliver fresh, never frozen meals right to your door. Just heat and eat in 2 minutes and you're all set. They have over 40 meal options every week, including keto, protein plus, and vegan. So whatever your goals or diet, Factor has you covered. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Sloan50off and use code Sloan50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code Sloan50off at factormeals.com/Sloan50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Welcome back to the Let's Get Into It podcast. Today we are talking about Megan Fox. She is a famous actress who's had quite a sad career in Hollywood. Ever since she was a young girl, she was exploited, she was groomed, and she's been treated like crap, not only by the industry, but the men that she involves herself with. For years, Megan was marked as the ultimate fantasy, the sexy girl next door, the dream girl every director wanted to capture on film. But what people didn't realize was at the time how young she was. This narrative was forced onto her, and Megan was thrown into hypersexualized roles as a teenager. One of the most disturbing aspects of Megan's story is how public her mistreatment was. We all saw it. We all watched as she paraded around as a sex symbol at just 15 years old, directed to dance under waterfalls in barely there clothing, and given roles that weren't about her talent, but how well she could sell the male gaze. And when she dared to call out men responsible, most notably Michael Bay, she wasn't supported. She was mocked, blacklisted, and labeled difficult. Hollywood has done this to many stars, Britney Spears, Amanda Bynes, even Lindsay Lohan, but Megan's case is unique in that she saw it all happening in real time. Megan knew that she was being exploited and she knew that she was being objectified, and yet the world told her to shut up and be grateful for her success. The media tore her down, reducing her to headlines about her looks, her relationships, and her bad attitude. To tell Megan's story, we have to start from the beginning. Megan was born in Tennessee back on May 16, 1986, and her early life was shaped by religious beliefs, family turmoil, and a deep passion for the arts. Megan was raised as a devout Pentecostal, later attending Catholic school for 12 years, which seems so different. The juxtaposition between her being raised in religion to then becoming a sex symbol and then dating a guy who, like Machine Gun Kelly, he just kind of gives me evil vibes. At just 3 years old, Megan's parents divorced, an event that left a lasting impact on her. Her mother, Gloria, later remarried and moved the family to Florida. However, Megan's relationship with her stepfather, Tony, was strained. She described him as very strict and emotionally abusive. Quote, "He was emotionally, mentally, and verbally very abusive," which definitely did not help her home life when she would get out of Catholic school and go home to angry stepfather Tony. And all of this instability at a young age, it has its toll. She battled with eating disorders and was described as manic depressed. In an interview with CR Fashion, she admitted, "I did experience some trauma in childhood, which was influential on her career."
You were vulnerable, opened up and talked about your body dysmorphia. Putting it out there, and for other women who are going through the same issues, how did you overcome that? How do you still overcome that, and what advice do you have?
I don't think I overcome it. It's why I'm extremely introverted and I don't do a lot of events. It is really hard for me. This morning was really hard for me, like working myself up into knowing where I was coming and what I was going to do. And it's also when you have to live that as a celebrity, where you know that every photo of you is analyzed down to like every eyelash and eyebrow hair and every acne scar. And you know that your faults are, so people comb through everything to find all the faults they can, instead of just being like, hey, this is a healthy, nice girl. You know, that's not something that is an option for me.
Even from that interview clip, you can tell that Megan overthinks everything. She's constantly in her head. But she found refuge in the performing arts. At the age of 5, she began training in dance and drama. Her breakthrough moment happened when she was 13 years old. She attended the 1999 American Modeling and Talent Convention in Hilton Head, South Carolina, and she won multiple awards. I mean, one thing you can't take away from Megan is that she is a beautiful woman. She's striking.
I always told my mother that I wanted to be an actress since before I can remember. And I think, you know, maybe it started with Judy Garland and Wizard of Oz, but I've just never had any desire to do anything else, and I'm not really sure why.
So with Megan doing these talent conventions, she got a little taste of the industry and she wanted more. She left Florida at 17 years old to move to LA and pursue acting full time. Soon after arriving in Hollywood, she landed her first major acting role. She debuted in Holiday in the Sun in 2001, a teen comedy starring Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, which if you guys want a podcast about them, comment below. She was also featured in The Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen alongside Lindsay Lohan. And it seems like at this point, Megan Fox was starting to get cast as the same character, kind of like a bitchy girl.
The first legitimate thing I booked was a straight-to-DVD film with Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen called Holiday in the Sun. I think my character's name was Brianna, if I remember, and she was a mean girl. She was the spoiled, rich, nasty sort of alpha female that picked on the nice, sweet, blonde Olsen twins. I don't know if people try to typecast me as that. I think I just sort of, for whatever reason, fell in to playing a mean girl, and I think more so because there are many more blonde actresses than there are brunette actresses, and so the chances of the heroine being blonde are statistically greater, and so then you want a visual opposite to portray the evil girl, and I am that opposite, I guess.
Now, Megan may have started off playing the evil girl, but that did not last long, and this is when she started to be sexualized by the industry. When it comes to selling online, having the right platform is everything, and Shopify is the #1 platform for turning ideas into real businesses. Whether you're selling clothes, candles, or custom merch, Shopify gives you everything you need to grow. With Shopify's #1 checkout in the world, businesses see more than 50% conversions. That means fewer abandoned carts and way more sales. And Shopify is built for growth, whether you're just starting or scaling into a $1 million brand. One of my favorite features of Shopify is that they sync seamlessly across your website, social media, and even in-person sales, so you're always making money. And with thousands of integrations, you can automate everything from inventory to selling. Upgrade your business and get the same checkout we use. Sign up for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/Sloan, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/Sloan to upgrade your selling today. That's shopify.com/Sloan. We all know eating healthy is important, but let's be real, it's not always easy. Between work, life, and everything in between, cooking meals can feel like another chore. That's why I love Factor. Their fresh, never frozen meals are designed to fit your lifestyle, delivered ready to eat in just 2 minutes. No grocery shopping, no chopping, no cleanup, just real food fast. With over 40 weekly meals, Factor has options for everyone, whether you're doing keto, calorie smart, protein plus, or vegan. And if you're trying to lose weight, Factor's keto meals are clinically proven to help you shed up to 8 pounds in 8 weeks with with zero effort on your part. It's not just dinner. Factor has breakfasts, smoothies, snacks to keep you fueled all day. Everything is dietitian approved and made by chefs, so you're getting restaurant quality meals without the restaurant prices. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/Sloan50off and use code Sloan50off to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code Sloan50off at factormeals.com/Sloan50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Megan's career took off in 2007 when she landed the role of Michaela Baines in Michael Bay's Transformers movie. The blockbuster film catapulted her to international fame, but it also introduced her to the darker side of Hollywood. Practically overnight, Megan Fox became one of the most talked about women in entertainment, and not for her acting abilities, but her appeal, her sexual appeal. When Transformers hit theaters, Megan was a global sensation, and I actually remember seeing that movie in the theaters and everyone was talking about her. Chris Lee of the LA Times described her as the first bona fide sex symbol of the 21st century. However, Megan's instant rise to fame proved to be a double-edged sword because as she started to get more attention, she was hired to be one thing, to be hot or just to be sexy. And everywhere that Megan went, she was objectified. They looked at her as not even a human. I mean, even on press tours, she had to answer questions about her looks and her appeal.
I think, the character is sexy, but women in movies in general are sexy, and especially in Michael's movies, and he knows how to make movies that get people in the theater, and if that's part of it, if that's part of the formula.
But if you look at the movie, we got that first shot out of the way just to get it out for the young boys and move on.
Her co-star, Shia LaBeouf, even acknowledged Michael Bay's particular approach when filming women. This director is a creep. Quote, Michael films women in a way that appeals to the 16-year-old sexuality, Shia said. We actually have a clip of Shia LaBeouf talking about Megan while filming, and here's that clip.
The firemen don't say anything to her, and the policemen don't say anything to her. Why? She's Megan Fox, homie.
It's so awkward to hear them describe her because they are clearly objectifying her. Like she's not even a human with feelings. Don't talk to her because she's the trophy. Megan's audition for Transformers also sparked controversy. Rumors circulated that she was asked to wash Michael Bay's car while he filmed her. It claimed that widely became accepted in the media. However, Megan later clarified that this was not the case. She said, these specific instances were inconsequential in the long and arduous journey along which I've endured some genuinely harrowing experiences in a ruthless, misogynistic industry. Well, that's a mouthful. Here's some more footage of Michael Bay and Megan interacting while filming the Transformers scene.
Did you do that? That's pretty hot. Woo, mama, yeah! I've never been touched by anybody like that before. Megan, you gonna give it good to me?
You're throwing those on him?
Yeah. No, then I'm gonna slap your ass with this towel.
Not Michael Bay talking about spanking one of his castmates. I mean, seriously, that's so unprofessional. Megan's experiences on Michael Bay's sets were particularly controversial. Even before Transformers, Megan had encountered Michael Bay's questionable directing methods. At just 15 years old, she appeared in Bad Boys 2 in 2003 in a scene that raised some ethical concerns. And now we're talking about that really inappropriate scene that Megan should have never been cast in. In a 2009 interview with Jimmy Kimmel, Megan actually shared that she was sexualized by director Michael Bay when she was only a teenager. In the clip, Megan tells Jimmy that she was 15 years old on the set of Bad Boys 2 and was made to wear stars and striped bikinis and a red cowboy hat and like 6-inch heels. When Michael Bay was told that Megan Fox wasn't allowed to sit at the bar for one of the scenes because she was underage, the actress said that his solution was to have her dancing underneath a waterfall getting soaking wet. And that's not the first time that Megan had been over-sexualized at a young age. Megan was also featured in 2.5 Men. This article reads, despite only being 16 years old, Megan Fox's Prudence is constantly dressed in skimpy outfits or shown seductively washing windows or sunbathing. Megan claims the 2.5 Men role was very uncomfortable in hindsight because she was only 17 years old. She said the joke of having two middle-aged men lusting after her is just kind of weird because, again, it's illegal. And just to give you guys an idea of what Megan is describing here, here's a clip of 2.5 Men.
Nana, did you throw out my cigarettes again?
Oh my gosh. I mean, they really have her wearing nothing with sleeves.
Dear God.
Isn't she wonderful?
Oh, God.
Well, I'd better get started on that work.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I remember seeing this as a kid too. And like, she does not seem like a 17-year-old teenager.
I have to do.
Yeah, I gotta catch up on some paperwork with the office.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, you've got the two men here awkwardly like talking about work because they're both just trying to wait each other out to see who can keep watching Megan clean this window with a sponge, which who cleans a window like this anyways? It's so weird.
Good job. Chiropractor job.
Now, Jennifer's Body and Jonah Hex were two significant examples of films that contributed to the over-sexualization of Megan Fox. Jennifer's Body, a horror comedy directed by Karen Kusama and written by Diablo Cody, initially faced criticism with its marketing campaign that it focused too much on Megan's sex appeal. The movie's promotion emphasized Megan's physical appearance, with trailers and posters showcasing her provocative poses. The marketing strategy for Jennifer's Body was problematic because it targeted young men instead of the intended female audience. Men aren't gonna like this film, girls are going to. Interestingly, Jennifer's Body has gained cult-like status and is now recognized for its feminist themes and clever social commentary, which actually I watched this movie not too long ago, probably within the last year or two, and I really did enjoy it. I didn't watch it back in 2009 though. Jonah Hex, which came out in 2010, was an adaptation of a DC comic, and it continued to typecast Megan Fox as a sexy character. In this film, Megan played Lila, a character introduced as an SEX worker who helps out the main character in the film, though I've never seen Jonah Hex. Comment below if you guys have seen this. Now, because Megan is cast in these really inappropriate roles, and she's had the unfortunate reality of working with some of the creepiest guys out here in Hollywood, she's actually tried to speak out. But when she did speak out, there were plenty of consequences. Megan said, "I predated Me Too and got ridiculed for calling out Hollywood's misogyny." From 2008 until 2009, Megan spoke about sexism she encountered in the industry. In particular, her experiences working with director Michael Bay. She compared Michael to Hitler and at the same time also Napoleon. Quote, "He wants us to be like Hitler's on his sets, so he is. So he's a nightmare to work for, but when you get him away from set and he's not in director mode, I kind of really enjoy his personality because he's so awkward, so hopelessly awkward," Megan says. "He has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him. He's vulnerable and fragile in real life, and then on set, he's a tyrant." I mean, saying those things publicly about one of your former bosses, it's probably not going to go well. In 2009, with Wonderland magazine, Megan made headlines when she criticized Michael Bay's director style, describing him as wanting to cultivate an insane, infamous madman reputation. Now, because she started to speak out against Michael Bay, her job opportunities started to lessen and lessen. Michael Bay actually dismissed her from the third film, which was set to come out, and it turns out that Steven Spielberg also wanted her out of there. Michael insisted to GQ that he did not want to fire her and that Steven Spielberg made him do it. He also issued an apology that for terminating his leading lady, saying, "I'm sorry, Megan, I'm sorry I made you work 12 hours. I'm sorry I'm making you show up on time. Movies are not always warm and fuzzy." So his apology isn't much of an apology, huh? And because Michael Bay started to dismiss Megan Fox, she went even harder on him, which in hindsight, I mean, kudos to you for doing that, but it definitely hurt her career. And going on to Jimmy Kimmel and talking about that Bad Boys 2 movie scene with the waterfall and talking about her being underage, it just starts to, work against her, because now people are starting to talk about it and create reasons on why we shouldn't hire Megan Fox, and starting to question whether, are the directors all bad or is she just entitled?
The hashtag cancel Kimmel is trending after the late night show host's past has come back to haunt him. In particular, it's an interview with actress Megan Fox, where she was talking about working with director Michael Bay.
I had just turned 15 and I was an extra in Bad Boys 2. And they brought me in, and I was wearing a Stars and Stripes bikini and a red cowboy hat. And he approved it, and they said, Michael, she's 15, so you can't sit her at the bar and she can't have a drink in her hand. So his solution to that problem was to then have me dancing underneath the waterfall getting soaking wet. And that's
perfectly
at
wholesome.
15. I was in 10th grade. So that's
Wow.
This comment reads, it's a little disturbing that the hashtag cancel Michael Bay wasn't trending instead. Not that Jimmy Kimmel's response was appropriate at all. Now, Megan's willingness to speak out came with consequences. After she was let go from the Transformers franchise following Revenge of the Fallen, she became the target of a smear campaign. An anonymous letter allegedly written by crew members was published online, criticizing her professionalism and her attitude on set. And that's not good. If the crew is talking bad about you, crew are so important. I just wrapped a reality show recently, and all of the crew, they're crucial, and they're also, they're people. They deserve respect, and if they're writing bad about you, then nobody wants you to be there at all. Not even the directors, not the mic people, not the camera people. But there are some people who believe that Michael Bay actually orchestrated this letter, this anonymous letter from these staffers, because he's trying to build his case against Megan. The anonymous letter wrote, "We can't give our names because sadly doing so in Hollywood could lead to us being banished from future projects." They call Megan Fox dumb as a rock, saying that she never smiles and she's the grumpiest on set. She's the queen of talking trailer trash and posing like a P-star. Her acting is cringeable, and she has a paragraph tattooed on her backside, probably due to her rotten childhood. This is one of the meanest letters I've ever come across. They continue, she's as ungracious as a person that you could ever fathom. Now, they are bringing up very specific moments, which does make me believe that this is coming from some type of crew, but I'm not entirely sure. Now, this letter was bad for Megan. She got tons of backlash. She revealed, "I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to take a photo, do a magazine, walk a red carpet. I didn't want to be seen in public, all because of the fear, the belief, the absolute certainty that I was going to be mocked or spat at, or someone was going to yell at me. So I went through a very dark moment after that."
I don't know if the psychological breakdown was strictly related to being objectified. I think it was more related to just being dehumanized. It was more the negativity that was constantly being spewed towards me or directed towards me. It doesn't even require somebody to actually say something directly to me. It doesn't require me to read it. But when so many people around the world are thinking about you or have negative thoughts or intentions towards you, that energy permeates me, it penetrates me. I don't have boundaries and walls for that.
Even when Megan tried to take on some more feminist work, such as her role in Jennifer's Body, she was still met with bad press and reviews, and her character was labeled shallow. She said, quote, "I've never felt completely included in the feminist community, and I do think that that's tricky in an awful way. Whenever I provoke in them, it's not something that they can digest very well, and so that comes back to me as they reject me for those reasons." She adds, "And I just don't think I was a very sympathetic victim." Here's an interview where Megan was asked about all of this objectification.
My psychological type is not an introvert, but fame made me introverted. And if you're delicate or sensitive at all, I think it's a really hard thing to go through. And so I shut down a lot and sort of retreated from everything and was essentially in hiding for several years of my life ahead of the Me Too movement by almost a decade. I was sort of speaking out against some of the abusive, misogynistic, patriarchal things that were going on in Hollywood back in 2008 and 2009, way before people were ready to embrace that or tolerate it. And I actually got ridiculed for doing it.
Now that we've covered the dark parts in her career, I want to talk about her relationships because this gets even darker. Megan Fox has spent much of her life under the scrutiny of Hollywood, a place that sexualized and objectified her from a young age. But it seems like Megan Fox's relationships almost mirror the Hollywood treatment that she's faced. Before she stepped into the spotlight, Megan Fox dated her high school boyfriend, Ben, for 3 years. She described him as sweet and wonderful. However, her ambition to go towards Hollywood is why their relationship suffered. Ben actually said, "She seemed to get wilder and more obsessed with making it. It broke my heart, but I had to let her go. She was way out of my league." Megan's rise to fame coincided with a series of relationships that placed her alongside older, more experienced men. At 18, she briefly dated Seventh Heaven star David Gallagher. Shortly after, she met Brian Austin Green, who was 30 at the time, on the set of Hope and Faith. Their relationship, which began in 2004, became one of Megan's long-lasting relationships. She was 20 years old, and she was engaged to this man and married by 24. Despite public public declarations of happiness, their relationship had toxic moments. Megan filed for divorce in 2015, only to reconcile and then file again in 2020. She said, quote, "I realized when I was out of the country working alone, I felt like more myself and I liked myself during that time." For years, Megan was known as the young, attractive counterpart to Brian, a dynamic not unlike her early Hollywood roles, where she was valued for her beauty rather than her individuality. Now, when she was away from Brian, Megan was romantically linked to Shia LaBeouf. Their relationship, which began during filming, seemed to be another example of Megan becoming entangled in environments where attraction and work were inseparable. Shia LaBeouf said, "Look, when you're on set for 6 months with someone who's rooting to be attracted to you and you're rooting to be attracted to them, things are going to happen." Now, Megan's relationship with Machine Gun Kelly had everyone confused. It seemed like a departure from her past patterns. She didn't describe him as a protector, but as her twin flame. However, their relationship took on an intense and almost ritualistic quality, with public declarations of love, blood drinking ceremonies, and an engagement ring that was designed to cause pain if Megan were to take it off. I still can't get over that. I mean, I feel like rings like sometimes bother me enough. I can't imagine like having a ring where you take it off and like thorns stab into your finger. Now, Machine Gun Kelly proposed to Megan Fox on January 11th, 2022. He described the ring as the bands are actually thorns, so if she tries to take it off, it hurts. Megan said, "So I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or people are imagining us with goblets, but we're like Game of Thrones, drinking each other's blood," saying that they only consume a few drops of blood on occasion for ritualistic purposes. They're not chugging down each other's blood, which, oh my god, ew, like the metal taste, and it's someone else's too. Pass.
I guess to drink each other's blood might mislead people, or like people are imagining us with like goblets and we're like Game of Thrones drinking each other's blood. It's just a few drops, but yes, we do consume each other's blood on occasion for ritual purposes only.
Now, in my opinion, it seems like this is so attention seeking. I mean, really, they're just trying to get headlines and to freak people out. And if, you thought Hollywood couldn't get any weirder, well, look at this relationship. But I do want to note something. I feel like Megan reads so differently in these interviews. I think it's also part of growing up and becoming more confident, but I do feel like in this relationship with Machine Gun Kelly, she has a sense of control that she never had in her past relationships, which is why we're seeing this performativeness coming out of the relationship, where we're kind of questioning, is this real or not? I don't know if it's that real, and I don't know if Megan thinks it's that real either, but I also don't know if she knows how to separate reality from this persona she's built. Now, Megan's relationship with the Machine Gun Kelly has been turbulent, with rumors of a split in February 2023. But a source told Entertainment Tonight that they had been going through it, and they're working on making an effort to work out their issues as a couple. And things have been getting better, but not for long. In November 2024, Megan announced that she was pregnant, and on December 10th, 2024, multiple sources confirmed that the couple had broken up, and it's for realsies this time. And it seems like Machine Gun Kelly has an issue with cheating, which caught up with him. When they went away for the Thanksgiving holiday, she became suspicious and decided to go through his phone. She found text messages involving other women, and she decided that she was done. Machine Gun Kelly left their vacation early. Despite trials they've endured in the past, their on and off again relationship seems to be completely over. Megan was looking forward to the future and rebuilding her trust with Machine Gun Kelly until reading those upsetting messages on his phone. And Megan now says she doesn't need a man in her life as she continues to be pregnant with their child, which to me, I feel so sad for her that she's going to be in the delivery room alone giving birth to this baby from a man who's treated her like absolute garbage.
The chances of Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly getting back together are reportedly slim. Us Weekly reported that the pregnant actress told MGK that she is done for good as her due date approaches. An insider told the outlet that although the rocker reportedly wants to get back together, Megan doesn't want to be in a relationship with him.
Megan has spoken at length about the way Hollywood had stolen her narrative, reducing her to an object of desire rather than recognizing her for intelligence and complexity. In many ways, her relationships mirrored the same struggle, being placed in roles that others chose for her. Now, after years of public scrutiny, it seems like Megan is finally stepping away from the expectations placed upon her, whether in her career or her personal life. The next chapter of Megan's story may be the one she writes entirely on her own terms, which actually sounds really freeing. Despite Megan going through so much, I feel like she still has more to give. And as I grow older and she continues to be famous, I feel like she's going to be one of those like actresses who we're going to grow up with and see her continue to work even after this pregnancy. Megan Fox's career has been defined by contradictions. A woman who spoke out against misogyny before Hollywood was ready to listen. She was ridiculed instead of being celebrated. An actress who sought to break free from typecasting, she was repeatedly reduced to her looks. A mother who found solace in her children, and she was still expected to maintain the allure of a Hollywood sex symbol. Megan admitted to Glamour UK, "The regret I have is that my personality is so lost on people. My sense of humor is lost. My intelligence is not acknowledged." While her career left her feeling misunderstood and misrepresented, Megan had found a new sense of purpose through motherhood. She does have 3 children with her ex-husband, Brian Austin Green, who I consider a groomer, just in my opinion. I'm not trying to get sued. She said, "That kind of saved me, honestly. I needed an escape." And honestly, I props to her, because I don't hear about her children. I don't see her children. Hopefully she's present in their lives, but it seems like she's not like exploiting them in any capacity, and that she is keeping them private, which I think is important, especially if you're going over here like talking about rituals and blood and things like this. Like, people at school are going to make fun of them. Megan did an interview where she was asked about the kind of legacy she wants to leave, and this is what she had to say.
I think I would like to be remembered as somebody who was brave, who was unafraid to explore and become myself regardless of anyone else's commentary. But I also want my legacy eventually to be someone who helped others, either helped others to find themselves in a similar way, or helped others to feel love, to feel self-love, and to be able to give that love to their own children and to their own family.
What a wild story. I mean, Megan Fox is one of my favorites, but what an insane tale. And now she's here, pregnant with this baby, giving birth very soon. I mean, I think like she's due within the next month or so. So it's going to be, you know, a roller coaster. And having a new baby sounds really difficult, especially doing it alone. Hopefully she's got like everything in order at home so she can like have a nanny and all those things. You know how the Hollywood people work. But I wanted to share Megan's story with you because we continue to cover her on my main channel and we love it. But I want to hear what you guys think of this podcast episode. Also, I want to pitch something. How would you feel? So currently the podcast structure is we have a person we talk about and we do like a deep dive on them. I'm considering changing the podcast structure to hot topics every week, where we just go through everything that's happened in the last week. It'll be a lot more fast paced. It would be just a variety of stories. So I wanted to put that out there and see what you guys think in the comments below about that switch up. I don't want to completely change things on you, but I also do want to provide you with the most up-to-date news. And I think maybe switching that could just, you know, do well for us. But I want to hear what you guys think in the comments below, and I'll see you in a new video soon. Bye, guys.